Alright, this video is to show you how to use the voltmeters. And again, I've got two voltmeters here. Each of these voltmeters may be found in any one of our labs. This is an older variety Fluke digital multimeter. This is a newer variety BK precision multimeter, yet they both work exactly the same. If we're going to use them as voltmeters, the first thing we have to understand is we need to turn them on. So I'm going to turn the bottom one on, I'm going to turn the top one on, and that's where the power supply is. Now, in order to make this is a multimeter, and so therefore it has multiple terminals. It can be used as a voltmeter, it can be used as an ammeter, it can be used as an ohm meter, and sometimes it can be used for other things as well. But in any event, we'll look at this bottom one and say, I want this as a voltmeter. In order to use it as a voltmeter, you have to choose the right terminals, and here's a terminal that's called volt, ohms, or diode test, and the volts is the one we want. This is the common, and so we're going to use this as a voltmeter. We'll plug our red lead into the volts terminal, we'll plug the black lead into the common terminal, either one of those two common terminals, and now we have ourselves a voltmeter. This is a high resistance device, and so therefore we can put the voltmeter across any component that we want to measure the voltage that is impressed across those 2 points. Before we do that, we have to select whether we want DC volts or whether we want AC volts. In this particular case, I've got a DC power supply, so I'm going to select DC volts. This meter is an auto range meter, so it will range all by itself, so that when I plug these two probes into these terminals, we'll see that it is reading, as long as I make connection there, it's reading 9.996 volts, whereas the power supply is displaying 10.01 volts. So I would suggest that those are both 10 volts. The multimeter is probably more accurate than the power supply display. And so there we have ourselves a voltmeter. We've gone to the voltage terminal, we've gone to the common terminal, we've selected DC volts or AC volts, depending on which one you want, and we have it. For this, it's slightly different. It's not auto ranging, but what I have to do is I have to plug it in the volts terminal. I have to plug it in the common terminal. Now I have myself a voltmeter. This first selector switch gives you either DC or AC, and right now it's selected at DC. This second selector is the voltage, so I can have volts, or I can have amps, or I can have ohms. I've now selected the voltage, and I now have to select a range. So since this is a 10 volt system, I don't want to select the 2 volt range. The 20 volt range will be fine because 10 volts is within 0 to 20 volts. So I'll select the 20 volt range, and then I'll go in and probe again. I look at that, and in we go, and it reads 9.99 volts. It is the same as it did before. Notice if I take the two leads and I reverse them, and I put the red probe to the black terminal, and put the black probe to the red terminal, it reads a negative 9.99 volts. And so therefore you can determine the polarity in between the red and the black by how you connect it to the circuit. And so each of these two meters, essentially the same thing. You choose the terminals which allow it to be a voltmeter. You select the voltmeter that you're interested in, DC or AC, and in this particular case you select the range. This one is auto ranging, so you don't need to do that.